Hey, what is going on, YGG community, all our aspiring creators? We are back with the third Forging the Feed episode here. We've got some big boys, big dogs in the house here to get you hyped up, to hear their journeys, to let you know the ins and outs of being a content creator. So, without further ado, let's bring these guys on here. We've got Icy. I'm sure you guys are all familiar with him. What's going
What's
on,
up,
Icy?
boys? Super
We
excited to
got
be here, Colin. Thank you for having us.
Yes, of course.
Yo,
There we
how we
go.
freaking doing, dude? It's good to be here, man.
And Spam,
Oh,
Hi
the goat.
guys.
the
Thanks for
goat,
having me.
looking fly, looking fly. Yes, guys, we are ready to dive in, ready to let these people know what it's like to be a creator, man. Thank you so much for you guys coming out. It is, I don't know how the dudes at YGG Play Summit schedule all these panels and stuff because sometimes it is hard to coordinate. You guys are busy people.
Yeah, shout out to 6 a.m. Let's do it.
Oh my God. Is it 6 a.m. for you, Dub?
Oh yeah, dude, we love it though, dude.
Oh,
worth
geez.
it.
I thought it was early for me and Icy here on the East Coast, but boy, 6 a.m. You're a trooper. Spam, what is it for you? It's got to be like what, evening for you?
9 p.m. Perfect.
Oh my God.
I'm not the most wide awake here.
Chai.
Well, guys, we've got a jam-packed session here. Lots of questions, lots of stories to go over. You guys are veterans of the industry, content creation, or just, being a DGen like myself. So I really want to dive in and, leave a little bit of time if there are some questions for the community at the end, kind of a little AMA style there. So Icy, I'm going to let you kind of kick it off here. And maybe for people that aren't familiar with you or your journey, all the great stuff that you do with, News Daily, everything like that. So why don't you let the community know who you are and what you do?
Yeah, thank you, Colin. I'm super excited to be here. Thank you for having me. When YGG calls, we always answer. So my name is Icy Gaming. I've been fortunate enough to be a content creator full-time, coming up on 4 years in the business. I love crypto. I love gaming. I got really inspired to try and add value to the space and try and help grow and build the space. So that's what I do. I started Gaming Daily, which was a daily news platform, live stream, video series. And it was really to scratch my own itch of like trying to keep up with everything that is happening across all of the blockchains and all of the games and all of the projects and creators. So we try to do our best to stay informed and help share that knowledge and insights and lessons to help navigate this crazy space. I've been fortunate enough to be partnered with YGG over the past year, and so proud because they're the best in the business, and they believe in like what I'm doing, and we share that mission. So really excited to be here today to kind of talk about my journey, much of which like Dub has been a part of, and Spam is just such an incredible creator. I see Spam's videos and I'm like, damn, like that is the bar that we need to get to. So I'm really looking forward to today's conversation.
Yeah, man, Gaming Daily is like the go-to for me. Like there's just way too much news to try and follow, and the way you're able to put it together and quickly is it's a blessing for somebody like myself, and I'm sure so many other people can agree, right? But I'm going to dive into a little bit of what that takes later on in the stream. I've got a question specifically on that, but before we do that, why don't I pass it over to you, Spam? Resident pro gamer when it comes to it. You've won tournament after tournament, and now, as Icy said, you're just spitting out pro level videos. So let our community know a little bit about that, bud.
My name is Spam and Rice. At first, when Icy said he's been in the scene for 4 years, I'm like, damn. Then I realized I'm on my 4th year. I'm 4 years also. Oh my gosh, what a journey it's been. But yeah, started off as just competing professionally in like Axie Infinity, which the tournament scene was really big back there. Then shifted over to streaming and really enjoyed that. And now I'm doing full-time content creation for YGG Play. So that's what I love about Web3. There's always like different paths and different ventures you can venture off into while all still being connected to your roots. So I've been in YGG for the past 3 years now, and Web3 for the past 4 years, and it's been nothing but a blessing. Especially my favorite recently, even though it's like a bear market and everything like that, it's been a blast seeing everyone's energy and like in a land events and everything like that, and everyone's still upbeat, everyone's still keeping it going, the energy going, and it helps motivate me keep going too.
Love it. Love it. Yeah. I remember watching you in Axie and being like, I hope I don't get matched up with this guy in one of the lobbies. If I see that name, I'm going to throw because I know it's not even worth my time on to the next match.
I remember you beating me before though, so
I think that was very much a stroke of luck. That was very much a stroke of luck. Dub, my man, when it comes to energy, you are all the energy. Tell us a little bit about yourself for the guys that don't know.
Yeah, I mean, like I didn't work in gaming or crypto full time. I came into this like post Axie and actually worked at a snowboarding brand before this, and that's where I got like my first dabbles into content creation and stuff like that. But with Web3 gaming, I mean, I started as like initially like a clipper. I remember specifically in Bryson's streams and other people's stream, like Spike as well. My main thing was going in there and beating them in the game and then clipping their reaction to them getting beat. And from there, I started to learn how to edit, how to ship clips, started being popular on Twitter. And then I've always had jobs or roles in the space. I was like community manager or marketing manager that also needed me to like be an influencer and be a streamer. So it was just, I was really lucky to work with like Soulbound and Shrapnel and be paid a regular salary to just go be a content creator. And then YGG were the first ones to be like, hey, why don't you just go be a content creator and we'll sponsor you? Like, I think you can do this, And it was like, oh, okay, cool. I guess I'll go do that. So yeah, crazy journey. And shout out to all the people along the way that have believed in me being able to do this, because it's all new for me.
So when you would jump in and kind of, were you deliberately trying to like bait these guys for some clips?
Oh,
you going in and being a shit disturber? So you'd be like best friends with Spracky, because Spracky loves to do the same thing.
Yeah, no, I think I specifically remember Spracky. There was a bunch of guys from YGG that was their thing. And I was like, you know what? That's what's fun. And I'm going to go do that,
So your journey really started off with, you know what, I just want to try something out. I enjoy watching reactions and clipping reactions. And then it turned into a full-time thing, full-time content creation.
Yeah, crazy journey thinking about it. And it's really cool seeing clipping and the rise of the Clippers, because that's what got me going. And seeing that being like more of a thing now, I'm all for it.
Now, you touched a little bit on, how you've been really, really ingrained in the community for quite a while, right? You followed some of these other guys clipping. I'm sure you've been managing a few other communities, whether it was Web3 or maybe the snowboarding stuff as well. Right. Do you want to kind of just talk about like how big a part community plays, not only in shaping you as a creator, but like,
dude, everything. Yeah. Like I didn't start becoming seen until I did an event with my community that was like, kill me and take my NFTs. And then like I streamed the reaction, everyone's chasing my ass around with swords trying to kill me. And like, it was at that moment that I realized that's the lifeblood of the whole thing. And like, I've been with a lot of projects that have had awesome moments, have had massive communities, and then have also lost those communities from either mistakes from the project leaders or bear market. And it's for sure like it impacts the entire project, the entire team, the development. It's crazy. The community is definitely everything for Web3 gaming.
Yeah, and considering that, like, this isn't the first bear market for all of us. I'm sure, like, again, we've been there, right. We've seen it come up and down, and unfortunately, that's just how it works, right? You have these really high euphoric highs, and then these just brutal bottoms, right? But in those times, in those bottoms there, you really start to figure out who the community is, like your true ride or die guys, those people that are going to stick it through. And, you see people come and go and stuff like that. Dub, how do you manage expectations though? Like myself as a community manager, it's hard, right? You get a lot of flack. Yeah. You get a lot of flack because people really throw it in your face as like the community manager. They expect you to like just pump Bitcoin back up to 100K somehow.
Yeah, I mean it's hard. I mean, we're even going through it right now with the Chad token launch. Like I'm watching the Discord, I see how frustrated some people get. It's trying to set expectations but also like still leave fun for it, because if you tell the entire details of everything, then the room for speculation, the degen, the fun parts of this is kind of out. But if you leave some gray mystery and be like, hey, you know, this is what we're, but still giving transparent, it's a tight rope to walk. But the thing for me is I always I think coming on live and being in front of the people in a Discord stage and chatting rather than trying to go back and forth in the chat wall, that's the general chat, is generally like the way I've always gone about it. And seeing those like human to human interactions happen is what you're looking for.
Yeah, no, totally agree. There's been a few times where we just schedule like AMAs out the blue because it's like, oh, we're getting in a wave of Discord stuff. Maybe let's just hash this out in voice.
We need to talk in a room. Yeah, exactly. And that's the best way to like really give that feel for everyone right now.
For sure. Icy, for you who has like this brand with Gaming Daily and everything, how do you navigate, you know, community sentiment and stuff? Because again, a lot of people are going to look up to you. You're the news guy, right? So they're going to be looking right to you once stuff starts really shit hits the fan. They're going to be looking at you. So how do you temper expectations and, you know, keep it light-hearted and happy, even though times are, you know, really rough?
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, I'm kind of known for trying to spread a lot of positivity and I think really keeping that perspective of zooming out and like understanding what we're even doing. And for me, like, you know, on my streams, I talk a lot about right now, you know, this is a new frontier, crypto gaming, like it's unproven. And we're all here because really we're pioneers. And the path of the pioneer is gonna be messy. It's gonna be hard. Like this is, you know, when it's hard, I try to zoom out and understand like, well, this is what it was gonna be the entire time. You know, so I always try and remind people to have a broader outlook of like, you know, 5, 10, 15 years. You know, we are navigating this crazy space, and like you have to remember Bitcoin just got its ETF, right? Bitcoin, you know, it took 10, 15 years for Bitcoin to, you know, make its mark and start to be accepted and adopted and things like that. So I think crypto gaming is on a similar trajectory of it's going to take time to disrupt the world in the ways that we know it's going to. I even draw parallels to like Amazon. You know, Amazon was like a huge deal in 2011, 2012, right? But it was nothing compared to what it was in 2020 or, you know, today in 2026. So like innovation and technology takes time. And I just hold that perspective because that's what you need to remember if you're going to, you know, stick it out through the hard times and, you know, be here for the right reasons, because it's going to be bloody. It's going to be messy. We're literally like chopping down, you know, trees and paving the path. But that's where the opportunity is. And that's where a lot of the fun is as well. So I just try and remember the mission. And like Dub said, remember that it's about the people. It's about the people along the way. So, you know, how we treat each other, how we, you know, build these bonds and relationships. And, you know, again, like Dub and I have been very close in the space for the past 4 years, and we've traveled together and we've gone to these different events. And it's like, not to get like too mushy, but for me, it's like a beautiful experience
baby.
To be able to do stuff like that. And like, you know, seeing Spam at YGG Play Summit, you know, this past one, I'm like, dude, like your content's incredible. Literally his YGG introduction video to like the summit, the conference was so sick. And like being able to see him and tell him that, and then continue to build with him and other people like yourself, Fallen, and YGG. Like that's what it's all about. That's the fun stuff. That's like the stuff that makes it all worth it. And so just zooming out, you know, keep calm and game on.
100%. Yeah, I want to pass it off over to you, Spam. Again, the idea of community, because like you said, me and you, we're really ingrained in Axie. We had some banter when it comes back and forth from playing some games, and watch you go up to the highest levels and represent like YGG when it comes to Axie and stuff like that. And now, as Icy said, with all the amazing content creation, right? Like, what does community mean to you and stuff like that?
I mean, community's been like the core, aspect of Web3 in general. Ever since I've joined Web3, it feels like 90% of the time it's been in like a down slump, kind of, right? But throughout the whole, I didn't mean that in a bad way. I meant it as in a good way, because throughout the whole
It's
down
been a
slump,
fun ride.
Yeah.
yeah, like you see who sticks around, like that was mentioned earlier, and everyone that's sticking around helps uplift each other, right? That's what keeps the community going and whatnot. So it helps the journey become a lot easier. It helps us stay bullish and everything like that. And especially being part of YGG, who does so many community organized events, whether online or in person. Just being part of the company and the org itself really helps. How would I say? Oh, dude, I get so shy because Icy and Dub are here, and I'm pretty good in camera, but these guys are mogging me on the camera right now, like the way they talk.
I'm
Ah,
not
Says,
afraid
says the
Max
most
or anything.
handsome
Dude,
guy
you're
in
fine.
the chat.
oh
Bro,
my gosh, I think it's been a while since like I live streamed, right? All my I've switched over to the recording, the editing, and everything like that. So it's been a minute. But yeah, man, community number one for sure.
That's why I sit behind an avatar. It's so much easier. I don't have to look pretty on camera. Like, you guys are all looking fresh and stuff, and I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna put this virtual avatar on, and I'm good. I'm good to go. I have no clue. Shout outs to our boy Munchies too. Like, I don't know how you guys get up on stage and do events and stuff. Like, that's the crazy stuff. I agree with you, Spam, man. Maybe let's shift it into more happier gears, considering, like, again, I think we can all agree the market is rough, but as we've all said, it's the community and it's our job to like kind of bring up the heat, the happiness, right? Like, this is only going to be for a little bit, you know. This is how the market goes. We've been here all before, and it's our job to let the newbies know, the guys that maybe haven't experienced this or and really feeling it, to let them know that this is just a patch, this is a blip. And then, like you said, Icy, there's greener pastures coming, usually very much greener, right? Like, when we started with Axie and stuff back in the day, Bitcoin was what under 20,000, Ethereum was under like $500. So, in the long span of things, right? YGG is coming up on what, 5-year anniversary, 6-year anniversary? I can't remember. It's been such a long time. But in that span, like, we've gone up so much. People have shifted all their roles from doing different things, right? Whether it's pro gaming to content creation, snowboarder to content creation. I see. What did you kind of do before all this content creation stuff? Were you in this industry before, or was it like, you know what, I'm just going to take a leap of faith and do this kind of stuff?
Yeah, I mean, quick background. I won't bore you with all the details, but I was like in digital marketing. I was working in sales a little bit, but I really fell in love with crypto. I've been in crypto since 2017. I read the Bitcoin white paper, went down the rabbit hole and totally drank the Kool-Aid. It really aligned with like my perspective on the world and like the values that I held and just like what I wanted to see. And so I, bought my first like little bit of Bitcoin back then, on Coinbase, and just kept my fingers on the pulse of the industry, and then came back and got really re-inspired and reinvigorated in 2020 for the whole DeFi season. We were talking about it right before we went live. Like, my first introduction to YGG was trading the token from like 50 cents up to $2.50. It was like one of my best trades ever. And so I've always loved and had this like strong affinity to YGG. And it even quick jump ahead, when I went to GDC in 2023 and saw that YGG was having like a small mixer event. I wasn't on the guest list. I didn't apply or whatever, but like, I was like, I have to go in. I have to meet Gabby. So like, shout out to Jorge from The Gaming Strategist. We actually sweet talked our way at the door into the event. And, it was really cool to be there. the energy. You could you could feel the energy in the room. And I got to meet Gabby. We took a quick photo, and that was kind of there's lessons in there. And again, I'm jumping all over the place, but the lesson is like, that was so valuable and important to build, start even building those relationships, because then, a few years later, 2025, when, I get to work with Gabby and I can show him that photo, like, hey, I'm like, like a real, fan and community member of YGG. And it's like, oh yeah, of course. Like, if you've been here for years, we definitely want to work with you. So I think that played a big role. But yeah, it was really that, falling in love with DeFi in 2020, and then just like wanting to be a part of the industry in some way, shape, or form. And that's when I found crypto gaming towards the end of that cycle, and was like, okay, like, this game that I was playing was really fun. And kind of like a lot of people, how they got into Axie, like, I started streaming and making content around the game, and just never turned back.
Was that when we were doing our rebranding?
Maybe. I'm not sure. Possibly. The game that I was in was Ice Poker, so I was like a poker guy, and that was like in Decentraland. So I didn't unfortunately, I kind of missed the big Axie wave where it was competitive and Spam was winning all the tournaments.
Good.
Yeah. He's like, just keep shouting that out. Yeah, I'm just trying to remember, because I think I've been to one of the GDC events when we were rebranding, and I remember working the door, and for whatever reason, I think I remember you not being on the list, and then Gabby was
okay,
like, let
go.
this guy there. But I wouldn't blame you for not remembering me, because I don't usually show my face, so that would have.
Well, I was just very nervous letting Jorge, work his magic at the door.
Yeah. Well, trust
like a
me,
lost little puppy.
Trust me, you were not the only one. I was like, I showed up there and I'm like, this is not my job, and he's like, God, just work the guest list here. We've got too many people. That event was like wedged. I think it was like a tiny bar.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it was crazy. Spam, I want to pass it back to you, because I see you looking at the camera like you're ready to talk here. So I want to follow up back. Yeah, no, I see you. You're ready to go. I want you to kind of talk to us about like the skill side of it, from being like, do you feel like your skill as a pro Axie player transitioned you into, like, did that prepare you for being a content creator at all? Like, are you using any of those skills or anything like that in your content creation? Did it make it easier for you to pivot, or totally different thing?
When it comes to playing professionally and just competing, right, you have to have a lot of game knowledge and everything like that. And one of the ways, like my favorite forms of content to watch is educational content, right? So if you know a lot about a game, you can easily change that to content by literally, at the start, I didn't even like worry about throwing in my personality, throwing in humor or anything like that. I literally was just describing the game, why I'm doing this, why I'm doing that, and just breaking down the game details. So that's on its own is one way of content creation. And what I'm doing right now in YGG Play is some of my content creation is informative. So it naturally just transitions over and whatnot. In terms of like the other side of content creation, where you need like the charisma, the personality, and everything like that, that comes naturally. You just touch yourself in front of the camera sometimes, and next thing you know, you'll be like these two guys on my on my left. And no, I was not trying to talk. I was just saying. Icy said that he missed the wave of competing and everything. I'm like, thank goodness, keep him. I'm happy he wasn't there to compete with me at the time. Made it a little easier for me. Yep.
Well, it was just funny because I remember you putting out your educational videos, and you said earlier that I beat you on one game. I'm pretty sure I used your strategy from one of your videos to beat you. That so it's kind of crazy to me that you'd compete at a pro level, but also put out videos that would possibly like give away your strategy. Like how are you navigating that as a pro player? Like, you know what, I'm going to teach my strategy and possibly that's going to get thrown in my face. Did you have like backup secret strategies going in? Like, okay, this person's going to use this and I'm going to just mash them with my backup strategy.
Yeah, now that the competitive scene from Axie is on the side for me, that was one of my strategies actually. Once I built momentum, I was able to say, hey, changing the meta today with this amazing comp, right? And you know how Axie works, whoever has the best comp in the last week of the season, can steamroll. So what I did was I would set up the meta, right? And then on the last week, I would reveal a secret comp as like, my emergency backup. And
Oh
then
my
that would
god.
help me farm the people that were
So
watching
you're
my
like
videos.
double-edged swording
Wait, that
here. You
sounds
were
so bad. That sounds so bad. But no,
That-
it's not like that. It's not like that.
Oh my god. No, hey, you gotta use
I would review the current meta. Yeah.
you gotta use what you gotta use, right? It's strategy. That's strategy. That's like big brain. That's 4D chess
I
right
was a
there.
pro player first. I had no obligations as a content creator, so
Oh my god.
you can't use that against me.
What did you do before, like pro Axie player? Were you just working a regular 9 to 5 and
Yeah, I
then,
was
or?
just a normie 9 to 5, and then COVID happened, and during COVID, I got introduced to streaming and everything like that. Um, I was just spending all my time at home playing games and watching streamers, and then I'm like, this is kind of unproductive, right? So then I combined them together. I'm like, and that worked out really well, and I started playing other games, and then that helped me build an initial audience. So when I shifted over to Web3, it wasn't completely from scratch.
I love it, man. Yeah, like many of us, from 9 to 5 to full-time degen. Dub, what about you, my man? Have you ever dabbled? I know you said you came a little bit after the Axie scene, but as a content creator now, maybe not on the pro side, but you got to be playing some pretty competitive guys when you're testing out these games. I know Shrapnel can get pretty sweaty,
I mean,
sweaty.
first of all, I've won some tournaments pretty publicly, so
There you go.
pretty pro in my eyes. Like I'll take spam on right now. And I haven't played Axie yet. Yeah. Imagine that, dude. It could cook. No, it's my favorite thing. Like, it's interesting with TCGs because there's always this worry that your opponent can be just watching your stream, and can see your hand and see your like it's really an advantage. And the trick is just to like put a delay on it. But I don't do that. I like being live. I like challenging people, and if they want, I welcome them, the stream sniping and all that kind of stuff. That's always been a fun way to just do it differently and to do it even more challenging. And the same with the degen side of things. I've been going much more into prediction markets and pack openings specifically this year. And what I like about it is the losing and winning money live with people. I mean, it's mainly my mom in my chat, and she loves it, dude. And so like it just makes me want to keep doing it, and getting to have big wins and big losses at the same time live with people is just, there's something to it that is, I that's what I chase. It's not really about the return. It's more about these live moments that are just keep me going every day, dude. It's just a ton of fun. It's the same as going and hitting a big jump in snowboarding. It's a dopamine thrill that I can't explain very well.
Is your mom in your chat like pushing you to like degen hard? Like, yo, big spin, another one.
Oh, yeah,
double or nothing. Oh my god.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, dude, she's all for it.
Shout out to Dub's mom. I am also usually in Dub's chat whenever I can. And I mean, that's how Dub and I started becoming friends like years ago, because I would see him streaming all the time. I think that Dub is a Dubs gamer, and that's something that I've always loved and respected about him and admired him. And like, I just want to say this for any of the creators that are watching. Gamers have such an advantage in content creation. And that's why you see people like Dub and Spam so successful, because gamers are like so competitive, like in their nature. And they're also like really smart and really astute and pay attention to the mechanics, right? And figuring out, how to win and, all the edge functions. And I've seen so many gamers take those skills and apply them in content creation, whether it's editing or just even the grind and the commitment to being the best at whatever they're trying to do. So, like, recognize that if you're a gamer in the space or like a part of YGG in the community, and you're thinking about getting into content or making content and whatnot, like you genuinely have an edge over someone who's not versed in gaming or watching streams and wants to get into the space. So it is like a really great time to build. I know Fallen, we were talking about kind of like the bear market or whatnot, but like I've been through a few bear markets, and the last bear market I was able to really build so much of my brand, so much of the foundation, and grow as a creator because it was less noisy and less competitive. And like you were saying earlier, it's about like, if you're sticking it out through the bear, you're showing that like you're really here for the right reasons and, believe in what you're doing. And that stands out to people like Gabby and YGG and the other people in the space. So when the bull market comes back, you end up being one of the people that all of those organizations want to work with.
Very much so. Yeah, I wanna shift gears a little bit here since we're talking about bull and bear and what Web3 is. Do you guys feel like there's kind of a stigma between Web2 and Web3? Like when you go to try and reach out to the traditional Web2 guys and you say, "Hey, I make like crypto content." Do you even call it crypto content? Like I myself have a very hard time, navigating that because with NFTs and everything, there seems to still be like a stigma, like a bad taste in people's mouths, right? So, Spam, how do you feel about that? Do you deal with that on a regular basis, or do you just?
Actually, now in like 2026 and living in in a country where crypto and everything's very well promoted. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Sorry, it might have been Vietnam internet issues. But yeah, everyone's pretty. The word is out there now, and being in a country where everyone's so like their minds are forward, always looking for the next big thing. I actually get a lot of questions when I meet with Web2 content creators or just like normal content creators, right? They're looking to venture into like the something new, and crypto always catches their ear because they hear about cryptocurrency in general, and like Icy mentioned earlier, or even though like we're in a bear right now, we got to remember like 4 years ago, Bitcoin when we joined, I was excited when Bitcoin first hit 10K in 2017. I believe that's when I got into it too. So yeah, so now these days in 2026, everyone's pretty well educated and about that. So there hasn't been no troubles or anything like that, I guess.
I like that. I like that. Icy, do you feel the same way?
Yes and no. So, over the weekend, we've been having this conversation a lot lately about like Web3 and versus crypto. And I'm in the camp that like people aren't familiar with the term Web3, and Web3 really isn't the search term or the word that we should be using. So I call it crypto gaming. If I'm talking to people that aren't familiar, with crypto or Web3. So for me, I largely kind of drop the Web3 term because it's so loaded and you always have to explain it. And, people's eyes will like start to glaze over of like, what does that even mean? So I will just talk about crypto gaming, right? And then people would be like, oh, that's interesting. Like, I didn't know crypto had video games. Like, what does that even mean? And then we'll start to like have a little bit more of a conversation. But really, I think like one of the takeaway lessons that I would share with, the audience is that I don't focus on traditional quote unquote Web2 gamers or anything like that. My mission is to serve and help the people that are here in the industry. And so people that are familiar with crypto or Web3 or whatever, right? I think that there's enough people here and there's enough like, quote unquote problems or just low hanging fruit of things that can be done and achieved and accomplished. So I really focus on the people that are, logging into crypto Twitter every single day, showing up to the Discord game nights, the people that are going to these conferences, the people that are, have a Twitter account in a dream. And I try and, add value, create content for the people that are already, in this system that, share these values and beliefs. And I find that there's so much opportunity within that niche, if you will. So that's where I spend the majority of my time. That's not to say that we don't need to expand outside of our bubble and that we should just stay in an echo chamber. That's not what I'm saying at all. I do have plans to expand my content and make more traditional gaming news content talking about arc raiders or Fortnite or, you know, what's happening with Epic Games or things like that. But that's really like only 10 to 15, maybe 20% max of my content strategy at the moment.
Got it. Got it. Dub, what about you? Coming from, you know, the traditional marketing background to this, do you ever still talk to people in that industry and they're like, what the hell are you doing? Or
Oh yeah, all the time. I mean, so the dudes I worked with, they're a bunch of snowboarders in France, and they just asked me whether or not to buy Bitcoin as soon as the snow melts. But beyond that, it's really fun. Listening to this is hilarious because I used to be with Icy, where I was like, I'm gonna make DJing content for the DJs that are here, and like, you know, if you're buying this stuff now, I'm buying it too, and here's me playing the play to earn game and trying to get returns. But this past month and a half, I've been doing the TCG content and specifically trying to grow a Web2 TCG audience that I can pill with Parallel, with Might and Magic Faith, with all the Web3 TCGs that are here, because I think that's the easiest game, the best use case for right now with game quality that can actually convert and bring people over. And I've been going to a lot of local card shops, trying to partner, first of all, with the card shop themselves, and then obviously talking to the card players that are there. I've been describing it as crypto TCGs, and it has not, it's been like 50-50, dude. Like, some people, they're all for it, they get it, they're like, oh, sick, so it's just like Pokemon, but it's digital. And it's like, yeah, you know. But for others, they still have the stigma. There was one store where it was like they wouldn't even check me out. They wouldn't let me buy the Gundam booster packs I
well,
wanted to buy.
they literally said like, get out of the store. We're not serving.
They didn't say get out. They just wouldn't check me out. They like wouldn't service me. And so like I was allowed to like walk around, but it was like they were not gonna, I wasn't buying anything at that shop. So I haven't gone back. So and there's a convention coming up in 4 days. So I'm super stoked. This is how I did it back in Web 2 days. Back in snowboarding, I literally went from resort to resort. I had a van with a bunch of snowboards, would put it out, would talk to people, have them ride my boards, and then get feedback and sell them boards, you know. And getting to a place where we can finally do that with TCGs and Web3 is super cool. Like having a mobile game that's free to play, that it's like, yeah, go check this out. And yeah, I hold the Shi no Shi that there's only 2,000 of that you can't freaking get because no one's selling it. You know, so the having that story is super cool, and it's getting better, but it's definitely, it's rough, and that's how it's going to be for a couple of years until we have, you know, that mass market appeal and some stuff that works well.
Yeah, I think eventually it's got to get to the point where there is no Web 2, Web 3. It's just, it's gaming again, right? And all this stuff is into the background. There's definitely been huge strides. We've seen it from the Axie days to now. Like there's a lot of fairly seamless integration. You know, Off the Grid is a pretty good example of that.
Right.
They do a pretty good job when it comes to like, if you don't want to deal with this NFT stuff, you don't have to. And if you do, great. And if you want to learn, well, it's there when you want it. So I think we're still in the early Amazon days, as you said, Icy, to go from there. But from what I'm hearing from all of you guys is that you got to be pretty consistent. Like you got to have some boots on the ground, or at least virtually have your boots on the ground, maybe hopping from Discord to Discord and making those connections, making sure these founders know who you are, you know, and again, just setting up that door to be open when it's ready, when the opportunities come up. So I'm going to pass it back off to you, Spam. Obviously you're doing a lot with Axie and stuff. Were you networking, you know, not only with the community, but with a lot of these founders and stuff, while you're playing at the top level?
Yeah, so what happens is when other games back then were trying to find the blueprint on like how to succeed in Web3, they looked at the most successful Web3 game at the time, which was Axie, right? So through Axie, I was able to meet like tons and tons of the owners of the like projects currently going on or projects that have taken this path already. Um, yeah, I guess is that what you're asking along those lines?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
just,
yeah.
yeah, I just want people to know, like, again, I think there's sometimes a little bit of an idea where people are like, I'm just going to put videos out and I'm going to be really good at, I don't know, editing and putting videos out and being consistent on that, which is really important, right? I'm sure you guys would agree. But there's also that not only do you have to put yourself out there virtually and on the camera, but you also have to do the legwork to make connections, not only within the industry, but in the community, because you never know who's going to have that next opportunity for you, right?
Yeah, dude,
Yeah.
the content creation is like the best business development. It's crazy how back when I was at Soulbound, I was trying to get as many games onto our platform to make quests as possible. And the way I did that was I streamed a new game every day, and then I would just DM my stream link directly to that game's Twitter account. Be like, "Hey guys, played your game yesterday, really enjoyed it. Here's some notes. Would love to meet," the classic hook and CTA, but because the space is so small, it works really well. Where literally, I strongly believe almost anyone can do that. If you want to go work with a game, just go create content for that game, whether that's streaming, a VOD, a thread, and then send it to them.
Mhm.
It's like, hey, this is me, and that'll get to the people and they'll read it and they'll respond. I'm going through DMs doing exactly that this morning from streams yesterday. It's the bread and butter of how to do it.
So I guess you guys would all agree, like, that's kind of maybe one of the perks about doing Web3 content right now, is because it's such a blooming industry. You have a lot of opportunities here to talk to founders, to talk to these big shots here, and they're more willing to talk to you.
Yeah, 100%. For me, that's one of the funnest and coolest aspects of the space and the biggest opportunities, because you do get to talk to game founders that in traditional gaming, you would maybe never have an opportunity to, right? Because they're either too big or too busy, or they're just like not as connected with the community. I think the ethos of crypto and Web3, where we're building in public and we're building together with the community, there is that I don't know, just kind of vibe where the founders are more accessible. And like, I remember, Dub and I went to the Shrapnel Studios. They invited us out, and to be able to go and tour, a game studio and talk to, different people that worked on the game, and, see their offices was just like so cool. It was like a dream come true. And yeah, there's a ton of opportunity to network and build, and really, like, that is, if you want to be successful as a creator, you need to be networking. And I think that is a mistake that a lot of creators make, is that they just want to make their content and put it out there and hope that the world will see it and appreciate it. But really, you have to have that business mind and business sense. And Dub dropped gems. He's like, not only is he making the content, but he's actively taking it and going and sending it to the team, sending it to the project, and then trying to get on a call with them. And that's really what it's all about. And it's so accessible and possible to do. So I encourage like every creator to be doing that. And like, even myself, like, I'm really accessible. If someone like DMs me or comments like, hey, like, I'd love to hop on a call, like 9 out of 10 times I'm going to message that person back and be like, yeah, man, here's my Calendly, like, happy to hop on a call. And, we've had people tweet out, be like, oh, like, I had a call with Icy. I didn't think that like could happen. And I'm like, all you got to do is ask. All you got to do is shoot your shot. And I try and do that so much because, that's what I did when I was starting out. And there were people like, Bryson or Crypto Stash or even Kagi who like responded and like gave me the time of day. And, I'm always appreciative of that. So I always try and pay that forward, because that's how we grow as a community, as a network, as an industry. Like, we all kind of, add value and then pass it forward.
Yeah. Can I add anything to that? I don't think there's been one time in my past, in all my years of Web3, where I went up and talked to a co-founder of a project or something like that, and they didn't take the time to talk to me. Each and every person I've ever tried to talk to, I didn't get egoed. They actually
Yeah.
spent a good amount. Like most of them actually don't even know who I was
Yeah.
because they weren't tapped in with like the actually esports scene and everything like that. But they still took the time at all these events to explain their project, why they're there and whatnot. So yeah, man, we're in a good space.
I love it. I love it. Yeah. So again, it really comes down to like you got to be your biggest fan first and
Mhm.
foremost, but
Mhm.
also keep your ego in check is what I'm hearing. But like if you don't put yourself out there, and that could be as simple as just tagging them in the content, right? Like if you're doing a game and maybe you're too shy to slide into DMs, you like at least tag them in like a tweet or something so that way there's some visibility. Like you can start small, right? Baby
Mhm.
steps, I guess, if you don't have the charisma of Dub or Icy or Spam here to like slide into the DMs, right, of a founder. At least at bare minimum, tag them. At bare minimum, hop in their Discord and do stuff like that. You don't need to be meeting these guys in person. I'm sure most of you guys would agree. Most of this stuff gets done virtually,
Mhm.
not live, right? But you gotta put yourself out there. You're already doing it by putting out videos. The next step is just to slide into some DMs or tag some people on Twitter, right? Like that's probably if you had to do a percentage, okay, all of you guys, of what the breakdown of your, I guess, content is, how much of it is the content, oops, making the content itself, editing the content, research, and then like reaching out or networking. And I'll pass this back off to Dub.
God damn it, dude. I've been all over the place on this. So I used to be 100%. I'm just going to go make the content and I'm going to build a team around me that'll like edit and do the rest. I guess I've always done my own research and that's just by living on Twitter. It's pretty sad. But now I live on gamingdaily.com. So, life's pretty easy. um, but now I'm spending way more time on research and editing than I am. I've slowed down. Like I had a day where I didn't stream on I think Sunday or something, and it freaked me out. But it was like it was the right thing to do because I spent that much more time editing, preparing for the future. It's one of these things. It's going to be different for everybody. You're going to have your different flow. But for me, what wasn't working was streaming and creating and going out and recording snowboarding content and having hundreds of hours of content filmed every week and not having hundreds of hours of time put to the side for editing that and researching trends and seeing what kind of formats work. So yeah, definitely right now it's like I'm trying to do everything even, but I'm taking less time on the actual live streaming and more time like trying to prepare and edit and on that side of things.
So you're figuring out like so now it's time to pivot a little bit from the live streaming and focus on, different aspects. Obviously, you're going to still live stream, but you realize that you got to kind of balance these things out if you want to make the best content.
It's hard because, dude, if I'm not live by 4 p.m., I get a text from my mom being like, "Is everything okay? Like, is it still gonna happen?" And so I try to avoid that at that point. But yeah, it's definitely because editing is all new to me. So I've been really self teaching. I just installed CapCut for the first time at the beginning of this year, and I've always paid editors and worked with them before. And finally being on the side of doing it, I highly recommend. I wish that's one thing. If I could have talked to the Dub 4 years ago, like I would have just told him, like, man, you can do it. Just try editing.
So you're a one man show pretty much right now, Dub, right? Or
No, I still have the people that I've always worked with. I use them to scale and to get out some other stuff. So yeah, no, I'm trying to be independent and to do some stuff, and there's a lot of stuff that's just all me from A to Z. But at the same time, the trees that I grew, I'm still nurturing and working with, and yeah.
what about you, Spam? Are you a one man team or do you got people in your corner helping you out?
Initially, when I first started content creation, it was everything by myself, right? First of all, the research that you had to put into the game, um, all the hours you had to put into streaming, you had to edit everything. Like at that time, you don't have a name for yourself yet. So I wasn't even in like an organization or something like that. But if you keep up that commitment, I promise it's not gonna last too long. The grind is not going to last too long because people are going to notice your hard work and everything like that. Organizations are going to reach out to you, and then from that point on, they'll provide you with the resources that you need, whether it's editors or people to make content with, or just content ideas as well. And now that I've established myself in the scene for so long, I'm in YGG and everything's very, very smooth sailing. I feel like we have a role for everything. So content creation right now is just all about the peer quality and the information you want to put out, and the team's going to do its best to help you achieve what you want.
Love it. Love it. Yeah, I think that's a big thing, right? You got to start off small, and then as you grow and expand, just like any business, you can't do it all yourself. Icy, I know you probably have some stuff here because Gaming Daily popped off. So you can't be doing that all on your own.
Yeah, no, there's that great quote, like, if you want to go fast, go alone. And if you want to go far, go together. So I've always understood that I wanted to build a team and build a business and really scale operations as far as I could. And that's a skill in and of itself, like learning how to delegate, learning how to manage, learning how to build systems and operations. And it's always a constant struggle, right? You're always learning and trying to push new things and new ideas, and having to kind of go through those growth pains. But no, I'm really proud. We've been very fortunate to build a really great team at Gaming Daily. We've shared the team members before, but Adrian AE Mac is my right hand man. Handles a lot of the operations and kind of like an executive assistant. I was working with a guy, Crafty, who is doing a lot of our content production. We've got Conch on the research side. Shout out to Wolves DAO. He's a prominent Wolves member. And I've got someone helping me with social media as well. So the really cool thing, I was able to bring a lot of the team together at YGG Play Summit because some of the guys were in the Philippines. Crafty was from Texas, and he like saw the energy going around YGG Play Summit, and he's like, I gotta go. And so, yeah, like 80% of the team was there together, and we got to go out to dinner and go to the summit together, which was incredible. But yeah, I mean, in the beginning, like Spam said, you're doing a lot of it by yourself. And it's hard. It's hard as a creator to like have to do everything and work really hard to get to the point where you grow and can scale and then can afford to hire some people. But then, that brings with it its own challenges of like having payroll and being responsible for people. It's a lot of work and it's a lot of responsibility, but at the same time, it's a blessing, right? Like I'm really just flattered and humbled that I've got guys that believe in me and believe in my vision, and we work hard every single day towards that mission of like, covering what's happening in crypto gaming and publishing onto gamingdaily.gg and publishing on our Twitter page and, prepping the live stream. But like, that's it's a lot of fun too, because you have this idea with your guys and you're like, can we make this happen? And a lot of work goes into it, and then you pull it off and you're like really proud of what you're doing, in the same way that YGG is building Forged in the Feed and Fallen. You're here, prepping the shows and bringing us together. Like it's all a part of it, and every creator kind of knows that. So yeah.
Now, those guys that you have backing you, you said you essentially just met them organically. Like, did they reach out and say, hey, I do editing or stuff like that? Or were you actually actively looking for somebody?
Yeah, a bit of both, right? I mean, everyone knows like hiring people is really hard. Finding the right people is really hard. How do you find the right people? And unfortunately, there's no silver bullet. It's just about like taking time and you're going to hire the wrong people or work with the wrong people, or just kind of go through it might be good in the beginning, but then over time it's just no longer the right fit, things change. And so it's always this like constant iterative process. For me, again, I got lucky, but I got lucky over time, because like luck is preparation, or success is preparation meeting opportunity, and having a little bit of luck. So, Adrian was someone that was like in the gamified comments, in the community, just showing up day after day. And, we started chatting, and over time it was like, wow, like we need to work together. Like you are awesome and I am scaling, and I have these issues, and I think you'd be a really great fit. So like, let's try and work together. And, you always try and take it like one step at a time. Like, okay, let's do a 1 month trial and like see how it goes. So you try and set the right expectations. And it's really important when you are working with someone to like, treat them extremely well. I always want my team to feel like I am the hardest working person on the team. And I never want to ask them to do something that I already haven't done, or like am not already doing. And so you really want to like lead by example, and appreciate like the work that they're doing for you. And I think like setting that culture is one of the reasons why we've been able to be successful.
Fantastic. Yeah, I just wanted to touch on the people that do a lot of the work in the background, especially as, you scale as a content creator, because, maybe people don't want to necessarily be a face. And I'm saying content creator in quotations, right? Like there's so many people in the background that do and help make that content. Like if they don't want to necessarily be the face, they can do other things, whether it's researching, editing, or whatnot. And hopefully you're doing that for a creator that respects you and that appreciates the work. But there's lots of these things that need to be done. So if they don't necessarily want to put their face on camera or be behind an avatar, there's different avenues in the content creator space that they can tackle, right? Whether it's editing, researching, I don't know. What other things, Dub? Can you think of any other like any other handles there? Researcher, moderators.
Well, I mean, the clipping is a big one for me right now. Otherwise, there's this advanced version of Scholar too. Like if I had an assistant, I would have him playing Gigaverse and playing Giga Chad Bat and under my account and doing stuff as well. So like there's a ton. At the end of the day, this whole thing is very entrepreneurial, and every creator is a different like ice cream shop that they're essentially building. So if you want to be the dude making the ice cream cones or scooping the ice cream, there's just so many different things, from playing the games, cutting content, researching content, and
collab management,
operations
Discord,
management too. If that's your
moderators.
thing. If you love making Excel sheets, man, like we could cook, so.
Yeah, so there's a lot of opportunity here, and especially like this is kind of a perfect segue to the next segment that I wanted to dive into, because we are at the top of the hour, and I want to have enough time here to answer a few more questions about what the future brings and some of the tools that maybe you guys are excited about, and then wrap up with a little bit of an AMA from the community here. So Spam, everybody's talking about AI right now. It's the hot commodity. It's not only affecting, the general public, but it is starting to affect the crypto space, the Web3 space as well. Are you using AI in any of the content that you're making? Are you like, how do you feel about that whole thing?
I mean, I personally love it. I love AI. It helps. Like, actually, I'm gonna say a funny story. Actually, today, I saw our new leaks or of our new waifu sweeper merch for
Yeah.
YGG Play. Right? I was like, "Yo, Gabby, this girl is cute." And then not boss Gabby, but my social media Gabby, right? And he goes, "Spam, that's AI." I'm like, so yeah, man. Whether it's helping me through refining my scripts that I go through on camera, or just helping me speak better in general when it comes to short form content, since it's so precise and so quick. Everything has to be like on point, on the nail. It's going to help you really refine what you want to get across to your audience. So it's been helpful
Now,
for me.
now on that point, you said like that was almost indistinguishable from realizing that that was AI. Do any of you guys worry that that's going to put you creators in a tough spot where, you know, somebody will be able to spin up like an AI creator and put you out of the job? Or I see your eyes got real wide there, but what do you think before I pass it off?
I don't think you can program some of the charisma that the creators in the space have, right? By the time that you do, we'll probably all be retired off of our, the future bull runs, and we'll be enjoying the show after.
AI could never have spam's aura, man. No, I'm not worried about it whatsoever. In fact, I'm actually so excited because there is now more opportunity and capability than ever before. So as a creator, like now is the time to lock in and seize that opportunity, use these tools to just accelerate everything that you're doing. I mean, like any question that like we had in the past of like, how do I structure a deal? Like, what does a contract look like? You can just get any answer that you need from ChatGPT, right? Like there's no more gap between knowledge and information. And so creators today have such an advantage. It is like way easier in many senses of the term, today than it was 3-4 years ago, which is great because that means that, really the anybody can do it. And it's just going to be a matter of using the tools and putting yourself out there and taking advantage of it. Now, where that opportunity is the cream will always rise to the top. So I think it's going to be the creators who are using these tools, experimenting and building, that will succeed. And I think that's where the opportunity is exciting for me. Like gamingdaily.gg, the website that I built, 2 years ago, I had the vision for that 2 years ago, but didn't have the resources or know-how to build it. And I got some quotes from different developers and it was like $40,000, $60,000. And it's like, I can't afford that. But inside of like 6 months, I was able to vibe code it with AI to like, it just works. Like I was able to do something, for a little bit of time and a little bit of money that I was never able to do previously. We're able to code up. We actually just coded an AI automation Discord bot for like some of our news stuff. So it's like automatically kind of ingesting news and then publishing it to our site. And we can even publish it to Twitter. And so these are like, just the opportunities are endless to use this stuff. We've already seen, it can do some of the editing, some of the thumbnail creation, some of the script writing. We're really seeing an acceleration in content coming out. And I'm like, we all know that people are using ChatGPT to write scripts or do research, but like, it doesn't feel like AI because they're putting their custom, spin on it and their personality and they're editing it. Right. So you can never like completely default to only using AI, but like you plus AI is going to be, just something that, is going to help you rise to the top. And honestly, like people that aren't doing that, they're not going to be able to compete.
Dub, are you using AI for any of your content as well? Are you making use of that tool?
Oh yeah, of course. I'm fully embrace. I mean, I can be better. A big thing that I started doing with prediction markets was using Grok to actually like drive my predictions, and that was really fun content. Just letting the AI like control my trades. But now I've actually finally installed the big boy AIs like Claude AI, and right now it's just correcting my daily habits and the food I eat, and then I'll let it start, touching my content. But yeah, I mean, I'm all for the full thing. I think even getting to the point where the sky's the limit, who knows how far it's going to go. Like, I don't think we can even comprehend like the tools that are going to be available to us, what at this point, 6 months from now is a very not very clear. Like if I have an easy bot that I can, upload a stream to and it can edit and chop things up, and hit that TCG short format that I need, then dope, and I think that's going to be a thing. I'm waiting more for it to be where it's not like I have to install the thing and teach it, where it's more going to be provided by others and it's a plug and play solution that I'm buying from like Google or something, not just like trying to figure out on my own.
So what I'm hearing is we all agree that AI is great, but it's a tool at the end of the day. Like the creators that are using it are going to be doing it. If you're just using AI to create content, like what do they call it? AI slop.
Yeah.
If you're just creating AI slop, it's probably not going to go well. But if you're adding your own flavor, right, your own charisma, as Spam said, plus the AI tools to help you make your content just that much more polished or make more content, you're going to be the cream that rises to the top, right? That's
I mean, if it had to be a metaphor, we all know the color, like color by number paintings and things like that. Like treat AI like that. Let AI set up a blueprint for you or the first little version of a model, and then your job is to come in there and just rework it and massage it. And it's great because it's like no one wants to start from a blank page on anything. I think that was the hardest thing growing up, was writing a 10-page essay and looking at Microsoft Word and it's just blank and not being able to start anywhere. But we now have tools that'll interview you, help you in the thought process, and give you like a kickstart into creating whatever you want to create and really get the gears turning.
Yeah, I love that point too, right? Like you need to use it as a tool. Or I actually did an AI course where the professor was like, you need to use it as like it was another person that's sitting in your corner. So like ask it questions. Don't just tell it to do something. Use it as like a partner. So instead of being like, write me a script, be like, hey, I'm thinking about writing a script. Can you help me with suggestions? And then you bounce it back and forth like it was a conversation. And then ask it to like organize everything. Because I'm horrible at organizing. I don't know about you guys, but a lot of time I will just ask, Chat GPT, organize these thoughts. Do these thoughts make sense with the context or whatever? Instead of just being like, make the thought, think for me, right? Like that's how it's got to be. If you're asking the AI to think for you, it's probably not going to go very well in the long run. Cool.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay. Another big thing I wanted to touch on here, which is really near and dear, I'm sure, to all of your hearts when it comes to talking about Web3, is digital ownership, right? We talk a lot about this with NFTs. I think that's really where a lot of these things will shine. Do you want to, before we dive into like what that means and stuff, well, actually what it means overall for the overall space, I want to kind of dive into what that means to you guys as, gamers, because I think all of us are gamers first and foremost. So when you heard this idea of digital ownership, what light bulb kind of went off in your head? And I'll pass this back to you, IC.
Yeah, it's a great question. I spoke earlier about like going down the rabbit hole with the Bitcoin white paper. And for me, like I've always leaned towards being a bit of a libertarian. Like I want to, do what I want to do and have like sovereign control over my life and like have my own sovereignty. And so the values and virtues of ownership in crypto like mapped onto my worldview one for one and really spoke to me at a core level. I liken it. The analogy that I give is, if you were to give someone a $5 bill, hand to hand in person, right? Like no one knows about that. The government doesn't know about that. You don't have to go through a third party bank where they approve the transaction and they see your money and they hold the money. Like, no, it's like, it's peer to peer, right? And it's private, it's secure. And the fact that we could do that on the internet with crypto was just like a revolutionary thing. I remember like sending my first crypto transaction and having this aha moment where it felt special. Like it almost felt like, I also remember like, you know, for people like who grew up in the 90s, like, you know, AOL and like using AOL.com and like logging in and like, you've got mail. Like there was this whole kind of internet experience that was just transformational. And that's kind of how I liken it. It's like, it brought me back to that. And that's what for me was like, okay, this is something different. This is something new. This is something revolutionary and transformational. And I just wanted to dedicate my life to it. And so for me, especially with crypto gaming, I think Robbie Ferguson from Immutable put it best. And this has been my mental model. Like, we deserve digital property rights on the internet, like full stop, point blank, period. Like as sovereign humans, we have property rights in the world. And if we are going to be digital citizens and, you know, be on Discord or, you know, on Twitter and have these calls and whatnot, like we are entitled to those same property rights in a digital world. And so to me, that's what ownership means and signifies. And it's very, very fundamental. It's like, I own this, it is mine, and I can do what I want with it. And like no other third party can control that, unless of course you get hacked and then they steal all your stuff, which is a problem. And this really crystallized for me on the gaming front. You know, again, when I got into ice poker and started streaming, like it was all about your wearables. And these NFTs that were, you know, your clothing and your hats and your jackets and your shoes that you could go into Decentraland and show off and flex. And I know there's a huge flex culture in Axie Infinity, and that's just such a innate human like motivation to be able to like show off like the things that you have. And, you know, those NFTs having utility was just really, really cool and really, really fun. So I think ownership is at a fundamental level really, really important and crucial. And I also think that like my outlook on it has always kind of been, you know, dubs into, you know, TCGs and collecting. And like, you know, I've got my Pokemon binder in the back, like all the cards that I collected as a kid, they mean so much to me that I care so much about them. I remember like organizing them and, you know, putting them in sleeves and just like looking at my collection in the pages, you know, for hours as a kid. And I think that like our OpenSea wallets, like with all of our NFTs, are going to be like that. They're going to be our collections that we will look at and remember like, oh, Spam won, you know, this Axie tournament with this Axie NFT. And that's valuable. That means something, even if it's, you know, just the nostalgia of that experience. So yeah, ownership is incredibly important.
Now, Dub, as a big TCG guy, I'm sure digital ownership's pretty close to your heart, right? When you're going and talking to these card shops and stuff, do you ever talk about like how digital ownership, why this matters to them, why like they should care?
Yeah, I mean, like whenever I'm trying to get clowned on by people, I just tell them it's like it's the same thing, but easier than these whatnot streams and the current ways of trying to sell physical TCG. It's insane, dude. Like setting up eBay accounts. That's why I was excited about CloudBot more, was to handle that, while compared to selling parallel cards on OpenSea, it's just a click, you know, and it impacts the game. It creates the same effects, all of that. It's just, this is the way to do it digitally. I think for me, the biggest thing on my take on ownership is really enabling these live economies that us as players can enter into and exit out of. That's nothing that has ever existed for me as a kid. Like, I collected a bunch of CSGO skins, but that money has stayed on Steam. And yeah, it's made it so I can just buy whatever game I want to buy whenever I want to buy, which is great. But that money is never paying for electricity or things the next day. So like, I think it's been super cool when I've gone, competed in tournaments, received rewards on chain, and then the next day it's in my account. And I know for physical TCG tournaments, it can be like 3 months until those winners are seeing paychecks and things. So like it's really the speed of everything and the way it impacts my actual life and my bank account compared to the way I used to just play CSGO. It's just so different. And that's what's fun about it for me. And it's a weird thing to talk about because people are like, oh, we don't want to, encourage people to, go and bet their entire bank account on Axie, especially right now, right? But at the same time, it's like you can get involved and you can throw some money down. And this is a more fun casino than the casinos,
And at the end of the day, people should have the choice to do what they want to do, right? If they want to exit the ecosystem or if something happens and they need to, right? Like they should have that ability to do so. And I love that you brought up Steam because that's always, I always try and liken that. I'm not sure if you guys have ever had this conversation before. I'm sure you all have, but like my neighbor who is not tech literate at all was just like ranted to me one day about how much he had spent on his kids' Fortnite skins. He's like, I've bought all these skins and there's nothing they can do. I'll never get that money back kind of thing. And I think his kid's been playing Fortnite forever. So he's got some, I guess, special skins or whatnot that you can't get anymore. And I'm just thinking to myself, I'm like, if those were NFTs or like digital assets and the kid stops playing Fortnite, he could probably sell those and make more money than his dad put in. And then I'm sure his dad would not be grilling him for playing Fortnite so much, right? Like I think that's where this is kind of amazing, right? Is there's that opportunity there to cash out on the time that you put into an ecosystem if it doesn't, fit your style anymore. Spam, you probably know all about this from the Axie days too. I'm sure you're sitting on a ton of Axies. How do you feel about digital ownership?
Oh man, I actually forgot. Like before I did competitive Axie, I forgot my first few months of Axie was I was actually Axie flipper. I would actually like buy Axies and
Yeah.
then sell them for more, and that's actually how I got my first initial Steam going. So yeah, it's been the world to me, right? Especially later on in Axie, whenever I saw an Axie that was rare, it rewarded my game knowledge. I knew like this part worked, this part worked, this part worked. I shopped it. It's a unique Axie, and next thing you know, I buy it, and it's one of the best Axies competitively, and it'll 10x. And anyone that wants to make anything close to it would have to spend tons and tons of money or buy the original Axie I had. So it was actually really nice to, buy and sell whenever you wanted. It was actually really cool, like the whole ownership aspect of it in general. I remember like the main selling point of someone getting me the Axie was like, "Hey, own this Pokemon. This is like what you dreamed of as a child growing up." So it's awesome, man.
Now, I'm just thinking here. You said you were making metas at one point. Were you also hustling the Axies on the side there? Were you like getting some of these meta Axies ready and then 10xing them because you put the meta in? You sneaky guy.
No, I don't have that much.
Look at the smile. Look at the smile there. I think so.
Nah, I
Game is
I
game.
was never like a breeder or anything like that, but there has been times where like a breeder would work out to me. He'll like be like, try my Axie, and then the Axie would do really well on stream, and then he'd sell a bunch of the eggs that he made, and he'd give me a cut of it. So that was one cool way of doing it back then.
Like Icy said, game is game, right? You got to hustle where you're gonna hustle. It's not nothing nefarious there. Okay, time is flying, boys. Time is flying. I just want to open the floor up to the community real quick before I ask you the final round of questions here. So, guys, whether you're in X, Twitch, Discord, if you guys got some question for the big boys here, why don't you reach out and let us know? But while we wait, we had one quite a while ago, and Monsi, was like, "Oh, these guys aren't going to answer this." But here we go. I'm going to pop this up on screen. So here's his question. He says, "I was using this app called Earnscape. Never heard of that before. Where you earn points by streaming games. However, they made a new policy where small timers earn more points, but you need to set up a YouTube account and stream there. And I guess you have to have a minimum of 50 plus subscribers. So I guess they're doing this to get, not to avoid botting. He wants to have it still fun and relaxing, but he also wants to stay anonymous. So how can he become a legit content creator while also keeping his private life peaceful and anonymity intact? Who wants to answer that one first?
Dude, I love a challenge, dude. Let's dive into this one.
Okay, Dub.
God, that's a hard one. I mean, like, first of all, getting to 50 subscribers on YouTube, really possible. I just set up my YouTube account like 30 days ago. I'm up to 6, so like I know I see 50 and I'm like, if you really wanted it and if you wanted to go the route you're going, I don't think saying just blanket rejecting YouTube is really the case there. Otherwise, like, if I would ask, like, what are you trying to stream to? If he's trying to just stream to the homies and everything, like, create the space to go do that. If that's a Discord group and you're streaming to them in Discord, that's a great way to do it. I mean, don't be shackled by the systems that are around you. If you are looking to just do something some way, like, just think about a different house to go do it in is the other thing that I would think about. And then the third option is you take that whole thing and you send it to ChatGPT and see what they think.
I love that.
Yeah.
Can't you just do content creation behind an avatar, or can't you just
Of course.
there's plenty of content creators these days that wear a disguise or something like that. That's a good way to keep your personal life private and everything like that. As for the 50 subscribers, man, that's actually so easy this day and age. You can make 50 of them yourself, just to get the ball rolling. I mean, game is game, right? So
Yeah. True.
yeah.
Yeah. How bad do you want it? What are we talking about here? I appreciate the question. I have so much empathy and understanding for and grace for creators who have questions, who are putting themselves out there. But that the answer is, like, go after it and get it by any means necessary. Everything that you want in life is on the other side of fear. Where there's a will, there's a way. You can definitely figure it out. Like Dub said, throw it into ChatGPT. Like Spam said, you could literally make 50 accounts yourself. You could, like, if you really wanted it, you could get, 50 in a day or so just by asking people, commenting, going into Discords, like asking your friends and whatnot. And you can 100% keep your private life private, and have that separation. You can create an Anon account. I mean, crypto Twitter, like, was all about being Anon, back in the DeFi cycle. One of my good friends, Empress Rayon, is a VTuber. She is still doxxed. I don't know her name. I've never seen what she looks like. And we've been best friends for like 4 years. Burnt Peanut is like the biggest streamer in the world right now. There's so much opportunity. So if there's anything holding you back, like, call that out and ask yourself, what is holding me back? What is the excuse? Throw it into ChatGPT and then, like, overcome it, dead that shit, and get after it, man. Make your dreams come true.
You just gotta do it. You can't use stuff as excuses, right?
Yeah.
Put yourself out there. There's no excuse. I'm, like you said, I'm using an avatar. I'm trying not to be doxxed, so people can't use
Look
that.
at Fallen. Who the heck is Fallen, man? I gotta go back to this YGG event I went to and see if go through these photos and see if he's in the background, man. We're gonna solve this.
I'm semi-doxed. But yeah, no, it's definitely, I love those answers, guys. Yeah, hopefully that answers your question there, Monty. Great to have somebody asking questions. I'm not seeing questions in the chat. Shout out to Boo Tops. He's saying, I have 105 subscribers and I just make funny faces online. So
yeah, shout out Boo Tops. Great guy. He was in my stream last night. Met him at a few different events. Always great energy. Saw him at the recent YGG Play Summit. Comes up with a big smile. Shout out Boo Tops.
100%. So I'm not seeing any questions. So I guess we're doing a good job here, boys. Answering everything
I want to know. I want to
Covering all the
ask
things.
Fallen, Dub, and Spam, because YGG Play has been crushing it. We got a few games under our belt now between Lowland, Giga Chad Bat, and now Waifu Sweeper. So I want to know from each of you, what is your favorite YGG Play published game at the moment?
Ooh,
Oh.
I'll go first. Sorry, Spam. I'm gonna take this one first here. Right now, I am digging Waifu Sweeper. A lot of our other games are really heavily luck based, which is fun. But I like to.
Hey man, I got a meta on Giga Chad Bat, man. I know just what I've been watching Dub's streams, man. Doug hype. I know when to click that swing.
I like a little bit more. I'm the most unlucky person when it comes to so much stuff. My fiance, on the other hand, like if I get a lottery ticket or scratch ticket, I make her scratch it. I don't do it. Okay, I lose everything. She wins everything. She'll enter these radio shows and she'll get tickets. We saw Wu-Tang last year because she won tickets for it.
Nice.
I was like, if I had done that, we would have got nothing. So I like a little bit more strategy stuff. And well, she's asleep right now, and waifus are awesome. So
shout out Wu-Tang, by the way.
yeah, shout out Wu-Tang. But yeah, so waifu sweeper #1 for me right now. What about you, Spam?
Mine's got to be Lowland, man. It's what got this whole
OG.
YGG Play project started. I witnessed it from the very first idea at dinner with Gabby and Lowland Boss. Seeing just like their initial thoughts and everything, to going to the office and seeing all the engineers build it piece by piece, brick by brick, and being one of the first content creators for the game and educating people how to play the game. So it's always gonna be my favorite. Although the waifus are tempting me. Lowland's gonna be my favorite.
Dub waifus, Giga Chad Bat, anything in between?
Dude,
Come on, man.
It's
Tough
so
choice.
hard, dude. I mean, yeah, it's waifu sweeper for me too. At the end of the day, it's like there's some weird thrill about running that up in the coffee shop and seeing if anyone's like creeping on my waifus and while I'm, while I'm trying to cook on it. Because you have to be so locked in. Like you have to, in order to like really win on that one, I still haven't cracked the code. I'm still not good enough. I was addicted to Sudoku as a kid, and tried like Sudoku challenges and all that thing. Was endlessly hunting apps for more challenging Sudoku, and this is scratching that itch for me in a really weird way, where like doing the quick math and being locked in. I'm terrible at streaming it because I can't communicate. I'm just like in the zone, dude, like doing the math, and don't ask me to do anything for 10 minutes if I'm playing Waifu Sweeper. And I haven't had a game do that for me in a really, really long time.
Icy. What about for you, bud?
Yeah, no, I'm grinning hearing Dub talk about Waifu Sweeper. So we were lucky enough to be there in Miami at Art Basel for like the world, debut. Shout out to Marielle, shout out to the team. I think Waifu Sweeper has so much potential because everyone who played the game was so locked in, exactly like Dub was describing. And we went around and got like testimonials and feedback. And I think the depth, like, first of all, the accessibility of the game is really easy and great. It's like super easy to, understand the concept, but then the depth of it behind, the strategy is really compelling. So I'm excited to jump in because I didn't play a ton in Miami because I was doing content. So I'm excited, like once it's out or I think it's out right now because I've been traveling. I'm excited to dive in, learn the strategy, but like I have to say my favorite right now at the moment until I learn that strategy is Giga Chad Bat. I think that it's so casual and so fun and like so addictive, like with the loop. And it's just like there's no better feeling than like hitting a dinger or getting like, the Giga Chad Bat and having that moment. And then, the ability to like kind of like gamble on it afterwards with like, do you want to, run up the points, get a 3x or whatnot, or you could potentially risk losing your entire points. That's just I think it's a really great designed game and super fun. And that's no shot at Lowland. Lowland is gorgeous and very fun. I love how they have all the different boards and the designs that go into that. I think that like this is what makes me excited to be working with YGG and the games that they're publishing, because they're building out this really comprehensive roster of games, and it's been fun to play them. It's been fun to make content, and it's been fun to be a part of the process.
Now we are at the 10:30 mark. Yeah, Spam. I know you got to hop off here, brother. So just want to.
Oh, I was gonna say one more thing about the YGG play and the games and stuff like that.
Oh,
Yeah, we have so much
go for
variety,
it, man.
man. If you want to just chill, have an idle game, if you know you're a busy person, launch up Low Land. If you need to scratch the brain, crunch some numbers, load Waifu Sweeper. If you want the ups and downs and the thrills of just like Giga Chad that, launch that up, and much more to come, of course, in the future. But we're off to a great start.
Awesome. Well, we are at the 10:30 mark. I just want to see. I know Spam. I think you've got a hard stop here, so I will let you go. Dub Icy, are you okay for a few more minutes?
Yeah, I got 10-15 for sure.
10:15. Okay. Spam, wrap up from you, bud. Thank you.
Just want to say bye, man. It's an honor to do this with all three of you guys. I gotta step up my game with I was watching how well spoken these two are. I'm like, it's been a minute for me. It's been a minute for me. But I'll catch up, and I hope if we ever do something again in the future. Icy and Dub mentioned they always go on these trips together to all these events. Man, I got a roommate with them one of these trips. It'd be great content,
Sure, dude.
especially for like my vlogs and everything like that. So honored to hang out with you guys tonight. Thank you, Fallen, for hosting. You did amazing, and I'll catch you guys next time. All right.
Yeah, thanks so much, Spam.
The GOAT. Shout out to that aura, man. The Spam and Rice aura, dude. It's hard.
I was just looking at his bling too, man. He's rocking some chains and stuff. God
humble king out here giving us so much praise, but I get nervous sharing a stage with that handsome lad right there.
Of course. Well, like I said, we've got a few more minutes here. We don't have any questions, but speaking of Waifu Sweeper, do you guys have your waifus yet? I got number 5. I got apparently
wow.
Wow.
Apparently that is you guys know Hun from the team, right?
Yeah.
The creator of it, and he's like, that's my favorite one, and I happened to pull that on stream when he was there. He's like, yes, number one waifu.
Congrats.
Yeah, I'm actually really jealous. So I'm the number 1 holder of waifu sweepers or waifus at the moment. I think I have 15 of them. Nope, 10. I have 10 waifu. I went on a binge, bro. As soon as I missed the first 10, I think the earliest one I have number 13.
Was your mom on stream while you're pulling waifus?
Yeah, I told her. I warned her. I was like, "Hey, like, look," and I was straight up. I was like, "Hey, this is like Sudoku when I was a kid," and she's like, "Okay, I get it, no problem." So I think she just puts a post-it note over the waifu when she's watching on TV. So
I came home wearing the Waifu Sweeper shirt, and my girlfriend was like, I was like, babe, I got you one. And she was like, I don't know about this.
That's so good.
That one night might not be kosher for stream. My fiance said the same thing. She's like, I'm going to be playing and researching this game for you. Okay.
But I am jealous of you guys. I do not have any waifus because I was traveling, but I'm literally connecting my wallet right now. I am going to get my waifus. I'm going to jump into the game.
Yo, you need to pull some on stream, Icy.
Yes. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll do that tonight. I stream every day, the Gaming Daily Live News. So we're doing that.
Okay. Well, I want to wrap up here because I know it's pretty early for you, Dub, and fairly early still for us, Icy. You guys are busy guys. Let's wrap up with an easy one. Advice you give to any aspiring creators. Dub, you want to take this first, bud?
Yeah, easy call. I mean, figure out what you want to do and just go ship it. Like, what's the worst that's going to happen? Like, yeah. I think a lot of people get in their own way with content, and that's the biggest blocker for everyone. I've spent the 4 years streaming most often to empty chats, and it doesn't faze me. It phases some people, but don't let that be a blocker. There's literally nothing bad that can happen from shipping content out there in the world. So just go figure out how to get it out there and turn the camera on and just start yapping.
You're very much the Shia LaBeouf. Just do it. Just do it.
Yeah, just do it.
I see.
Yeah, it's so true. Like Dub said, I mean, every every creator, like, you know, like the best time to start is right now. And, you know, the best thing that I ever did was start creating content. And with that said, like I wanted to start years before I did. And it's such a blessing to be 4 years in. I didn't know if I would make it, you know, 1 month. And fortunately I just never gave up. And I found something that had enough gravity that pulled me and allowed me to keep doing it day after day, and build up enough momentum through that consistency so that I never gave up. And that's really the key. Like whatever you want to do, like Dub said, find a way to do it, find a way to start, because it will be the best thing that you ever do. And that you have absolutely nothing to lose. To this day, I'm critical of my content. I think it could be better. I look at it sometimes and I cringe, and it's painful. It's painful. It can be painful, but at the same time, it is so worth it, and the rewards far outweigh any of that pain. And that pain makes you stronger. And I'm like grateful for it. It's a blessing in disguise. So if you're wanting to do something, now is the time to lock in. It's never been a better time. You have all of the resources available to you. And if you are struggling, the best thing that you can do is to find some people around you that you can, you know, connect with and chat with through the hard times. Literally, this is what Dub and I do. We have a mastermind every single week where we come together with a few other creators in the Wolves DAO to support each other, to ask questions, and to share tips and advice and resources. So the best thing that you can do is to find your people and to grow with them. And I think that YGG is doing such an incredible job of incubating creators, supporting creators, creating content like this, and giving opportunities to people. So if you're watching this and you have that desire, that fire in you, you know, lean into it and keep going, and just, you know, give it your all. Continue to show up, you know, stay in the Discord, attend every single Forged in the feed that you can. Try to reach out to me, Dub, Raiden, the people that are on these shows, Spam and Rice. Jump into the Wolves DAO Discord. You know, like the opportunities are there. It's just whether or not you are going to take advantage of them. That's really it.
Awesome. Well, oh my God, I'm starting to lose my voice.
Yeah,
Yeah,
real
no.
passionate about this stuff, man. Because I was there, man. Every creator that you see was there. They had ambitions and dreams and fears, and they put themselves out there. They faced them, and they kept going. And so I know what it's like to be there. And I know what it's like to push through it. And I want people to realize that they can do that stuff, and that, you know, it is possible. And there's literally nothing, you know, that is different about me, Dub, Spam. Well, Spam is very handsome. But you know, besides that, like there's nothing stopping anybody from going after what they want and achieving way more than they thought that they were capable of.
Couldn't agree more. Dub, Icy, thanks so much for joining. This has been amazing. I'm sure all of the people here really appreciate it. And I'm sure it won't be the last time. I'm sure I'll have one of you guys come maybe run one of our workshops here, because that's our next step. We're going to start putting together some workshops so people can actually build some skills, or even if it's just a networking workshop, right? So really appreciating you guys. I know your schedules are ridiculous. Like you said, Icy, traveling, lots of travel. Dub, you know, putting in all the work with those TCGs. I want to see some more waifus. Maybe you got to get on Icy's stream and help him pull some legendary waifus.
Yeah, Dub's got the streamer loot, man. He always pulls like the crazy rares. I'm
just looking at the collection, and I don't think anyone's pulled a mythic waifu yet.
Nope.
Like I see legend. That's what keeps me minting more, man. It's crazy.
You could be the first. Think about it.
It's so nice.
Listen, go pull a mythic. If you see this, Go pull a mythic, post a screenshot, tag me. I will give you $10 in YGG. I'm putting a bounty out there on the mythic for everyone except for Dub.
You heard it live here, guys. Go pull that mythic. Well, boys, thank you so much for joining and staying a little bit over time here. I really appreciate it taking the time here, and I will catch you guys on your streams or wherever. Do you guys want to just shout out before we wrap up where everybody can find you, whatever upcoming stuff you got? Dub, my man.
Oh yeah, dude. I mean, daily gaming is where I'm all about. But no, my stuff's Dubs Dailies on everything outside of Twitter. Otherwise, it's a Dub on Twitter. I'm really trying to grow on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. So would super appreciate any follows on those platforms.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Fallen. First of all, man, you did a great job. It's always a lot of fun being on one of your shows because you're such a great host, and the conversation is just so informative and fun. Me, I'm Icy Gaming on Twitter, 3 Ys and underscore. I run Gaming Daily. You can go to gamingdaily.gg. We try to publish all of the latest news and events happening across all of crypto gaming, from Ronin to YGG to all of the games. We've got a calendar, we've got a news terminal, we've got an official events page where, the YGG game nights, if you want to, go compete like Spam and Rice and try and win some money playing games, and you're looking for the best opportunities, we try and feature all of those on gamingdaily.gg. I personally host a live stream Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. EST. So a little bit later in the evening on my side. So early in the morning for anyone in Asia. But yeah, I react to the news. We talk about the news. You can get my insights, my reactions, my opinions. It's a really good show. I've been having a lot of fun doing that. I just want to shout out everyone in the chat who spent their time with us. I see Jace from the Ronin community in there. So huge shout out to him. I see Mount Doji. I see Radio. Appreciate everyone who was, chatting and sharing this space with us. It means a lot.
100%. Well, you guys all heard it here. You don't need permission to be a creator. Get out there, make some content, stop making excuses. And again, if you need help, hop into any of our Discord, slide into the DMs, put yourself out there. The space is about building each other up, not tearing them down. And we will catch you in the next Forged in the